Welcome back to lesson 4 on life skills. Before the classes got disturbed, we had in different classes covered portions to the different extents. And in the last 3 classes that I have taken online, the recordings of which I have shared with you, I have actually completed the first chapter in all classes. I also gave you a question bank with solutions to refer to and the chapter of communications. Now we start a new chapter, that is team building. In this chapter, we look at what is a team, what binds the team together, that is the characteristics of a team. Then we look at the difference between a group and a team. Then we also look at the different stages in which teams get formed and start functioning, and also methods of building effective teams. Roughly, this is the plan. Let us start as usual. Let me share my screen. Where are we? Yes, sir. So we begin with looking at what is a team. ಸಾಮಾನ್ಯವಾಗಿ ನಾವು ಕೇಳಿಸ್ಕೊತಾ ಇರ್ತೀವಿ, 2 heads are better than 1 ಅಂತ. ಸೊ ಎಷ್ಟೋ ಕೆಲಸಗಳಲ್ಲಿ, ಮಾಮೂಲಿ ದೈನಂದಿನ ಜೀವನದ ಕೆಲಸಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಅಂತ ಸ್ಟೇಜಲ್ಲಿ ಡಿಸಿಷನ್ ಮಾಡುವಾಗ ನಮಗೆ 1 ತಲೆಗಿಂತ 2 ತಲೆ ಮೇಲು ಅಂತ ಅನ್ಸ್ಬೋದಾದ್ರೆ, ಇವತ್ತಿನ ಪ್ರಪಂಚದಲ್ಲಿ ವೈಜ್ಞಾನಿಕ ಕ್ಷೇತ್ರ ಆಗಲಿ, ಕಮರ್ಷಿಯಲ್ ಕ್ಷೇತ್ರ ಆಗಲಿ, ಯಾವುದೇ ಕ್ಷೇತ್ರದಲ್ಲೂ ದೊಡ್ಡ ದೊಡ್ಡ ಪ್ರಾಜೆಕ್ಟ್ಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ. ಕೋಟ್ಯಾಂತರ ರೂಪಾಯಿನ ಪ್ರಾಜೆಕ್ಟ್ಸು, ಹಲವಾರು ವರ್ಷಗಳು ತಗೊಳ್ಳೋವಂಥ ಪ್ರಾಜೆಕ್ಟ್ಸು. ಆಬ್ವಿಯಸ್ಲಿ ಅಂಥ ಪ್ರಾಜೆಕ್ಟ್ಸನ್ನ ನಾವು ಯಾರು ಒಬ್ಬರು ನಿಭಾಯಿಸ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ, ಡಿಸೈನ್ ಮಾಡಲಿಕ್ಕೆ, ಕಂಪ್ಲೀಟ್ ಮಾಡಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಸಾಧ್ಯವೇ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಸೊ ಅಲ್ಲಿಗೆ ವಿ ನೀಡ್ ಗ್ರೂಪ್ಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಪೀಪಲ್ ವರ್ಕಿಂಗ್ ವಿತ್ ಅಸ್ ಅಂತ ಆಯ್ತು. ಸೊ ವಿ ನೀಡ್ ಟೀಮ್ಸ್ to accomplish more complicated tasks. Even in small tasks, relatively easy to take up and complete, it is better you have people supporting you. So very often we also hear that united we win. ಒಗ್ಗಟ್ಟಿನಲ್ಲಿ ಬಲವಿದೆ ಅಂತ. ಸೊ ಒಗ್ಗಟ್ಟು ಅಂತ ಇರಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಒಂದು 4 ಜನ ನಮ್ಮ ಜೊತೆಲಿ ಇರಬೇಕು, ಒಂದು ಟೀಮ್ ಅಂತ ಇರಬೇಕು. ಮತ್ತು ಸಾಮಾನ್ಯವಾಗಿ ಒಂದು ಟೀಮ್ ಅಂತ ಇದ್ರೆ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, when the team start working, another characteristics of the team is that it is never a situation where 2 + 2 is equal to 4. 2 + 2 ಟೀಮ್ಸ್ ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿರೋದಾದ್ರೆ 5 ಆಗುತ್ತೆ, ಇಲ್ಲ 3 ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. 4 ಆಗುವಂಥ ಸಂದರ್ಭಗಳು ತುಂಬಾ ಕಡಿಮೆ. ಸೊ ಹಾಗಾದ್ರೆ for most of the things that we do in this modern world, we need more than 1 person. Therefore, we need groups of people working with a common purpose, common methodology, and common ideal. So, such a team of individuals or such a collection of individuals all working together for a common goal with a common ideology, with a common plan of action, with a total orientation towards the accomplishment of the goal. ಆ ಥರದ ಒಂದು ಕಲೆಕ್ಷನ್ ಆಫ್ ಇಂಡಿವಿಜುವಲ್ಸ್ ಅನ್ನ ನಾವು ಟೀಮ್ ಅಂತ ಕರಿಬಹುದು. ಸೊ ಎ ಟೀಮ್ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಬಿ ಡಿಫೈನ್ಡ್ ಆಸ್ ಎ ಗ್ರೂಪ್ ಆಫ್ ಇಂಡಿವಿಜುವಲ್ಸ್ ಆಲ್ ವರ್ಕಿಂಗ್ ಟುಗೆದರ್ ಫಾರ್ ಎ ಕಾಮನ್ ಪರ್ಪಸ್ ಅಂಡ್ ವಿತ್ ಎ ಕಾಮನ್ ಗೋಲ್, ಕಾಮನ್ ಐಡಿಯಾಲಜಿ, ಎ ಕಾಮನ್ ಮೆಥಡ್ ಆಫ್ ಆಕ್ಷನ್, ಆಸ್ ವೆಲ್ ಆಸ್ ಎ ಟೋಟಲ್ ಕಮಿಟ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಟು ದಿ achievement of the goal. What a team is, you can also understand from this acronym. Acronym ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಒಂದು ರೀತಿ ಶಾರ್ಟ್ ಫಾರ್ಮ್ ಅಂತ. ಸೊ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಫಾರ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ ನಾವೇನ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ವಿ ನೋಡ್ಬೋದು ನೀವು. A team can be understood from this acronym. It says together everyone achieves more. ಈ together everyone achieves more ಎಲ್ಲಾ ಪದಗಳಿಗೂ ನಾವು ಹೆಡ್ಲೈನ್ ಮಾಡಿದೀವಿ ನೋಡಿ, ಕ್ಯಾಪಿಟಲ್ ಮಾಡಿದೀವಿ ಅದನ್ನ. ಸೊ a team is a place where collectively each individual achieves more than what he would have achieved if he had been alone. This is one of the ideas or main reasons to form groups. There is another way in which you can also look at this. In a team, the members of the team, A, train together, B, encourage each other, aim together at one goal, and motivate each other to achieve that common goal. So you can also think of the team like this: a group of individuals, a collection of individuals who train together, who encourage each other, who aim at the same goal, and also motivate each other to achieve that common goal. Now, what should be the characteristic of such a team? The characteristics of such a team, therefore, will be a common set of goals, common set of objectives. Objectives ಗೂ goals ಗೂ ಏನು ವ್ಯತ್ಯಾಸ? ಗೋಲ್ ಅನ್ನೋದನ್ನ ಬಹುಶಃ ನಾವು ದಿ ಹೈಯೆಸ್ಟ್ ಪರ್ಪಸ್ that the team wants to achieve ಅಂತ ಇಟ್ಕೋಬಹುದು. As it tries to achieve the highest purpose that it has set out to, a team can also achieve certain other things, collateral benefits ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ಬೋದು ಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ. ಆ ತರದ collateral benefits ಏನಿದಾವೆ, collateral objectives ಏನಿದಾವೆ, that get achieved, they are the common objectives. And because they are honed towards a common purpose, most likely their thinking will also be along similar lines, and their interests are entwined together. ಅಲ್ವಾ? ಅವು ಒಂದಕ್ಕೊಂದು ಗಂಟು ಹಾಕೊಂಡಿವೆ ಈಗ ಅವ್ರ ಇಂಟ್ರೆಸ್ಟ್. So they have a common interest, and also they have a common, therefore a common thought process. Their attitudes have to be same because they have to gel together as a team and also move collectively towards the goal. Their perceptions will be similar. Their likings most likely are also going to be similar. These are the characteristics that most likely all teams will have. Then there is this question of groups versus teams. Now, what is a group and what is a team? ನಾವು ಬಹಳ ಸಲ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇರ್ತೀವಿ ನಮ್ಮ ಗ್ರೂಪು ಅಂತ, ನಮ್ಮ ಟೀಮ್ ಅಂತ ಕೂಡ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ. ನಮ್ಮ ಗ್ರೂಪಿಗೂ ನಮ್ಮ ಟೀಮಿಗೂ ಏನು ವ್ಯತ್ಯಾಸ? Groups usually are collections of people with common interests. ಯಾವುದೋ ಒಂದು ಇಂಟ್ರೆಸ್ಟ್ ಕಾಮನ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಫಾರ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್, ನಮ್ಮೆಲ್ರಿಗೂ ಭೈರಪ್ಪನವರು ಕಾದಂಬರಿ ಓದೋ ಹುಚ್ಚು ಇರ್ಬೋದು ಒಂದು 10 ಜನಕ್ಕೆ. ಮಿಕ್ಕ ಯಾವ ಇಂಟ್ರೆಸ್ಟ್ಗಳು ನಮ್ದು ಸಮಾನ ಅಲ್ಲ. ಭೈರಪ್ಪನವ್ರ ಕಾದಂಬರಿ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಮಾತ್ರ ಇಂಟ್ರೆಸ್ಟ್ ಇದೆ ಅಷ್ಟೇ. ನಾವೇನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ, ನಮ್ಮ ಹತ್ತಿರೋ ಬುಕ್ಸ್ ಅನ್ನ ಶೇರ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು, ಅಥವಾ ಬೇರೆ ಯಾವುದೋ ಒಂದು ಆನ್ಲೈನ್ ಸೋರ್ಸ್ ಅನ್ನ ಟ್ಯಾಪ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು. ಈ ರೀತಿ ಮಾಡಿಕೊಂಡು ಬುಕ್ಸ್ ಅನ್ನ ಶೇರ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ಓದ್ಬೋದು, ಬುಕ್ಸ್ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಡಿಸ್ಕಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು. ಅಷ್ಟೇ ಹೊರತು ಮಿಕ್ಕ ಯಾವ ಒಂದು ಅಟ್ರಿಬ್ಯೂಟ್ಸು ಕೂಡ ನಮ್ಮಲ್ಲಿ ಕಾಮನ್ ಆಗಿ ಇರಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಸಾಧ್ಯ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಮತ್ತು ಈವನ್ ಈ ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡುವಾಗಲೂ ಕೂಡ ವಿ ಆರ್ ನಾಟ್ ಸೋ ಟೈಟ್ಲಿ ಬೌಂಡ್ ಟುಗೆದರ್ ಆಸ್ ಅ ಟೀಮ್. ಯಾಕೆಪ್ಪ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಎ ಗ್ರೂಪ್ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಇಂಡಿವಿಜುವಲ್ಸ್ ವಿತ್ ವೇರಿಡ್ ಇಂಟ್ರೆಸ್ಟ್, ಆಟಿಟ್ಯೂಡ್ಸ್ ಆಸ್ ವೆಲ್ ಆಸ್ ಥಾಟ್ ಪ್ರಾಸೆಸಸ್. ನಾವು ಯಾವುದೋ ಒಂದು ಪರ್ಪಸ್ಸಿಗೋಸ್ಕರ ಜಾಯಿನ್ ಆಗ್ತೀವಿ. ಆ ಒಂದು ಪರ್ಪಸ್ ಅನ್ನೋದು ಸಾಮಾನ್ಯ ಗ್ರೂಪ್ಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಾಗಿರುತ್ತೆ, ಪ್ಯಾರಮೌಂಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲದೆ ಇರ್ಬೋದು. ಅವಾಗೇನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, ಬೇರೆ ಇಂಡಿವಿಜುವಲ್ಸು ವಿತ್ ವೇರಿಡ್ ಇಂಟ್ರೆಸ್ಟ್ ಇರ್ತಾರೆ, ಆಟಿಟ್ಯೂಡ್ಸ್ ಬೇರೆ ಇರುತ್ತೆ, ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ದೇ ಕಮ್ ಫ್ರಮ್ ಡಿಫರೆಂಟ್ ಬ್ಯಾಕ್ಗ್ರೌಂಡ್ಸ್. Therefore, the thought processes are also not very much aligned. Usually what happens in many such groups, there is no well-defined leader or leadership. Therefore, what happens? They don't so very well gel together as a team. ಬರ್ತಾರೆ, ಒಂದು ಜಾಗದಲ್ಲಿ ಪ್ರಾಕ್ಟೀಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ, ಯಾವುದೋ ಒಂದು ಜಾಗದಲ್ಲಿ ಮತ್ತೊಂದು ಜಾಗದಲ್ಲಿ ಹೋಗಿ ಪರ್ಫಾರ್ಮ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾಗಿತ್ತು ಅಂತ ಇಟ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇಂಡಿವಿಜುವಲ್ ಆಗಿ ಒಬ್ಬೊಬ್ಬರೇ ಹೋಗ್ತಾರೆ. ಕೆಲವರು ಇಲ್ಲಪ್ಪ ನಂಗೆ ನಾಳೆ ಕೆಲಸ ಇದೆ ಬರಲ್ಲ ಅಂತಾರೆ. ಸೊ ಈ ರೀತಿ they have no commitment to each other as strong as it is in a team. On the other hand, teams are more tightly bound. They have to achieve a task. Therefore, they are brought together, they are trained, they are motivated, they encourage each other to go for it, and therefore what happens? And most likely, they will also have to perform together. 10 ಜನ ಒಂದು ಗ್ರೂಪಲ್ಲಿ ಇದ್ದು ಭೈರಪ್ಪನವ್ರ ಕಾದಂಬರಿ ಓದ್ತಾರೆ ಅಂದರೆ, ಅಥವಾ ಒಂದು ಕರ್ನಾಟಕ ಮ್ಯೂಸಿಕ್ ಕಲ್ತ್ಕೊಳ್ತಾರೆ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ 10 ಜನ ಇರಬೇಕು ಅಂತಿಲ್ಲ. 3 ಜನ ಇದ್ದು ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು, ಮಿಕ್ಕವ್ರು ಬರ್ಬೋದು, ಬರದೇ ಇರ್ಬೋದು. ಇವತ್ತು ನಾಳಿನ ಕ್ಲಾಸಿಗೆ ಬೇರೆಯವ್ರು ಬಂದು ಸೇರ್ಕೋಬೋದು, ಇತ್ಯಾದಿ ಇತ್ಯಾದಿ. ಆದರೆ ಫಾರ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ ನೀವು ಒಂದು ಕ್ರಿಕೆಟ್ ಟೀಮ್ ತಗೊಂಡ್ರೆ ನೀವು ಯಾವುದೇ ಟೂರ್ನಮೆಂಟಲ್ಲಿ ಪಾರ್ಟಿಸಿಪೇಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ರು, ಫಾರ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ KSC ಲೀಗ್ಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಟೀಮ್ನಲ್ಲಿ ಮಿನಿಮಮ್ 7 ಜನ ಇಲ್ಲದೆ ಹೋದ್ರೆ ನಿಮ್ದೇನಾಗತ್ತೆ? If you don't have minimum 7 people, you will forfeit the game. ನೀವು ಗೇಮ್ ಆಡೋಕ್ಕೆ ಆಗಲ್ಲ. ಸೊ ಆ ರೀತಿ ಟೀಮ್ಸ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಏನಪ್ಪಾ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ದೇ ಆರ್ ಗ್ರೂಪ್ಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಪೀಪಲ್ ಹೂ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಕಮ್ ಟುಗೆದರ್ ಫಾರ್ ಎ ಸರ್ಟನ್ ಪರ್ಪಸ್, ನಾಟ್ ಸೋ ವೆರಿ ವೆಲ್ ಬೌಂಡ್ ಟುಗೆದರ್. ಸಾಮಾನ್ಯವಾಗಿ ಡಿಫರೆನ್ಸಸ್ ಬಿಟ್ವೀನ್ ಟೀಮ್ಸ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಗ್ರೂಪ್ಸ್ ಅಂತ ಕೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. ಸೊ ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ಟೀಮ್ಸ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಗ್ರೂಪ್ಸ್ ಮಧ್ಯೆ ಕೇಳಿದಾಗ ನಾವೇನಪ್ಪ ಹೇಳ್ಬೋದು ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ, ಯು ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ವಿತ್ ಇಂಡಿವಿಜುವಲ್ಸ್ ಕಂಪ್ರೈಸಿಂಗ್ ಎ ಟೀಮ್. ಒಂದು ನಿಮಿಷ. So the individuals comprising a team, what happens is they will be, one second, more tightly bound, and most likely it so happens that nobody, no single individual will succeed without his team succeeding. There's no question of one individual doing well. Not that one individual does not perform. ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು, ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. They go for the highest awards, they win the awards, but without the help of their teammates they would have done nothing. For example, ಒಂದು ಸಿಂಗಲ್ 50 ಓವರ್ ಗೇಮ್ ನಲ್ಲಿ 250 ಹೊಡಿತಾನೆ ರೋಹಿತ್ ಶರ್ಮಾ, ಆದ್ರೆ ಪಕ್ಕದಲ್ಲಿ ಎಲ್ಲ ಪಾರ್ಟ್ನರ್ಸ್ ಔಟ್ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಹೋದ್ರು ಅಂತ ಇಟ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. even though he doesn't get out, he doesn't get to bat after the 11th person is out. ಸೊ ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ಇನ್ನೇನು ಮಾಡದೇ ಇದ್ರು ಯು ವಾಂಟ್ ಸಂಬಡಿ ಟು ಸ್ಟೇ ವಿತ್ ಯು. ಆ ಥರದ ಸ್ಥಿತಿ ಇರೋದ್ರಿಂದ ದಿ ಟೀಮ್ಸ್ ಆರ್ ಮೋರ್ ಟೈಟ್ಲಿ ಬೌಂಡ್ ದ್ಯಾನ್ ಗ್ರೂಪ್ಸ್. ಎ ಗ್ರೂಪ್ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ individuals with varied interests, attitudes, as well as thought processes. It is not necessary that group members have a common objective or a common goal to achieve. Even if they can have one, they are not so very tightly bound as a team. For example, out of 7 persons learning Carnatic music together, even if 2 come together, there can be a practice session. But if a cricket team is less than 7 players, it can simply can't play. The game is forfeited. So you succeed together as a team or you fail together as a team. So in a political rally you can take. In a political rally what happens? There is one person who has come probably addressing us to seek votes from us. ಅವನು ನಮಗೆ ವೋಟ್ ಕೊಡಿ ಅಂತೇಳಿ ನಾವು ಏನೇನು ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೀವಿ ದೇಶಕ್ಕೋಸ್ಕರ ಅಥವಾ ಆ ಲೋಕಲ್ ಕಾನ್ಸ್ಟಿಟ್ಯೂನ್ಸಿಗೋಸ್ಕರ ಮತ್ತು ಏನೇನು ಮಾಡೋ ಯೋಜನೆ ಇಟ್ಟಿದ್ದೀವಿ ಅಂತೆಲ್ಲ ಮಾತಾಡ್ತಿರ್ತಾರೆ. ನಮ್ಮ ಅಪೋನೆಂಟ್ಸ್ನ ಬೈತಿರ್ತಾರೆ. ನಾವೇನು ಮಾಡಿರ್ತೀವಿ, ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಹೋಗಿ ಕೂತ್ಕೊಂಡಿರ್ತೀವಿ ಅಥವಾ ನಿಂತ್ಕೊಂಡಿರ್ತೀವಿ ಕೇಳಿಸ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋದಕ್ಕೆ. ಕೇಳಿಸ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋಕೆ ಹೋದೋ ಉದ್ದೇಶ ಏನು? ನಾಟ್ ಆಲ್ ಆಫ್ us are a group now because there is a political rally and we are part of it. But none of us have gone there with the same purpose as most of the others. ನಾವು ಫಾರ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ ಆ ಲೀಡರು ಕ್ಯಾರಿಸ್ಮ್ಯಾಟಿಕ್ ಲೀಡರು ಅವನು ನೋಡೋಣ ಅಂತ ಹೋಗ್ಬೋದು. ಕೆಲವರು ಭಾಷಣ ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ ಅಂತ ಹೋಗ್ಬೋದು. ಕೆಲವರು ನಮ್ಮ ಪಾರ್ಟಿ ಅಂತ ಹೋಗ್ಬೋದು. ದೇ ಮೇ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಅ ವಿಶ್ ಟು ಸಪೋರ್ಟ್ ದಿಸ್ ಗೈ. Even opposition people may go there for a variety of other reasons. So even when you are in a group participating together, it is not necessary that you should be aligned with the goal of the team sometimes. So now what are the major differences between groups and teams? Groups thrive on a synergy of contributions. As you know, if somebody gets a 200, the team will not win. You at least need, while batting, minimum 4 people to get a 50. You need to post a total of 350 at least in an innings in a test match to have any idea of winning. It's generally doesn't happen with one person. While you bat, 3 or 4 people contribute, and while you bowl, again 3 or 4 bowlers will have to take wickets to give you a win. But in groups, individuals can perform well. A music group, there's an outstanding singer, he can lead, the others can simply join him. Teams provide random skills. Teams are generally formed out of 1 or 2 characteristics being aligned together with the rest of the group. Therefore, what happens? We don't even know what kind of other skills they bring together. But when you form a team, you are very well aware of the strengths and weaknesses of individual members and the skills they bring together to the team. Therefore, you are very more careful in choosing the team. Because you are more careful in choosing the team, you generally complement the skills. ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, ನಾನೊಬ್ಬ ಬೌಲರ್ ಇದ್ರೆ, ಸೊ ನನ್ನಂತ 3 ಜನ ಬೌಲರ್ಸ್ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಟೀಮಲ್ಲಿ ಏನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀರಾ ನೀವು? ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ 4ನೇ ಅವನನ್ನ ಒಬ್ಬ ವಿಕೆಟ್ ಕೀಪರ್ ಅನ್ನು ಚೂಸ್ ಮಾಡಕ್ ನೋಡ್ತೀರಾ. ಒಂದು ಕ್ರಿಕೆಟ್ ಗೇಮ್ ಅನ್ನ ನಾವು ಯೋಚನೆ ಮಾಡೋದಾದ್ರೆ ಕ್ರಿಕೆಟ್ ಟೀಮ್ ಅನ್ನ, ಆ ನಂತರ ಒಂದ್ 4 ಬ್ಯಾಟ್ಸ್ಮನ್ ಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಹುಡುಕ್ತೀರಾ. 4 ಬೌಲರು 4 ಬ್ಯಾಟ್ಸ್ಮನ್ ಒಬ್ಬ ಕೀಪರ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ 9 ಆಯ್ತು. ಆಮೇಲೆ ನೀವು ಸಿಚುವೇಶನ್ ನೋಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ಇನ್ನಿಬ್ರು ಬೌಲರ್ಸ್ ಹೋಗ್ತೀರಾ, ಅಥವಾ ಒಬ್ಬ ಬ್ಯಾಟ್ಸ್ಮನ್ ಒಬ್ಬ ಬೌಲರ್ ಅಂತಿರೋ, ಅದು ನಿಮ್ಮ ಟೀಮಿನ ಸಂದರ್ಭವನ್ನ ಅನುಸರಿಸಿದೆ. ಆದರೆ ಇನ್ ದ ಟೀಮ್ ವಿ ಆರ್ ಲುಕಿಂಗ್ ಫಾರ್ ಕಾಂಪ್ಲಿಮೆಂಟರಿ skills that are different from one another and necessary for us to achieve the task that is given to us. ಸಾಮಾನ್ಯವಾಗಿ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, ಟೀಮ್ಸ್ ಕೂಡ ತಮ್ಮ ಗೋಲ್ಸ್ ಕಡೆಗೆ ಹೋಗುತ್ತವೆ, ಗ್ರೂಪ್ಸ್. ಆದರೆ ಅಷ್ಟೊಂದು ಕಮಿಟ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಇರಲ್ಲ. 10 ಜನ ಸಂಗೀತ ಕಲಿತಾರೆ ಅಂತ ಇಟ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ, ಯಾರೋ ಒಬ್ರು ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿ ಶೈನ್ ಆಗಿ ಅವ್ರು ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಬಾಲಮುರಳಿ ಕೃಷ್ಣ ಆಗ್ಬೋದು. ಇನ್ನು ಮಿಕ್ಕ 9 ಜನ ದೇ ಅಚೀವ್ ಟು ಡಿಫರೆಂಟ್ ಲೆವೆಲ್ಸ್, ದೇ ಪಾರ್ಟಿಸಿಪೇಟ್ ಇನ್ ದ ಟೀಮ್ ಟು ಡಿಫರೆಂಟ್ ಲೆವೆಲ್ಸ್. ದೇರ್ಫೋರ್ ವಾಟ್ ಹ್ಯಾಪನ್ಸ್, ಅಂಡ್ ಇನ್ ಮೋಸ್ಟ್ ಕೇಸಸ್ ದೇ ಆರ್ ನಾಟ್ ಇನ್ವಾಲ್ವ್ಡ್ ಇನ್ ಪ್ಲಾನಿಂಗ್ ವಾಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಬೀಯಿಂಗ್ ಡನ್. Therefore, what happens? Their commitment to the team goals is not that much. On the other hand, in a team framed for or formed for a single purpose, a specific purpose, there is a greater sense of commitment to common goals, because most likely these goals have been decided upon by us by a discussion in which every member of the team has participated. Therefore, what happens? Naturally, there is a greater sense of ownership in teams, which is not so very present in groups. Similarly, individual responsibility exists in groups. You have to perform well, you have to shine. On the other hand, in teams, it is always collective responsibility. It's often said that a chain is as strong as its weakest link. ಇಲ್ಲೂ ಅಷ್ಟೇ, ನೀವು ನಿಮ್ಮ ಟೀಮ್ನಲ್ಲಿ ಅತಿ ಕೆಟ್ಟ ಪರ್ಫಾರ್ಮರ್ ಯಾರಿದಾರೋ ಅವ್ರ ಮಟ್ಟಕ್ಕೆ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಟೀಮು ಬಂದುಬಿಡುತ್ತೆ. ಅದರಿಂದ ಏನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀರಾ, ನೀವು ಜವಾಬ್ದಾರಿಗಳನ್ನ ಕಲೆಕ್ಟಿವ್ ಆಗಿ ತಗೊಳ್ತೀರಾ. ಯಾರೋ ಒಬ್ಬರನ್ನ ಐಸೋಲೇಟ್ ಮಾಡೋ ರೀತಿನಲ್ಲಿ ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡಲ್ಲ. ಗ್ರೂಪ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ, ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ಪೀಪಲ್ ಕಮ್ ಫ್ರಮ್ ಡಿಫರೆಂಟ್ ಬ್ಯಾಕ್ಗ್ರೌಂಡ್ಸ್, ಡೈವರ್ಸ್ ಕಲ್ಚರ್ ವಿಲ್ ಬಿ ಪ್ರೆಸೆಂಟ್. ನಾಟ್ ಎವ್ರಿಬಡಿ ಹ್ಯಾಸ್ ದ ಸೇಮ್ ಸ್ಟೈಲ್ ಆಫ್ ವರ್ಕಿಂಗ್, ಬಟ್ in teams, they have a single purpose. They are really trained for it. They are motivated to go for their goals. Therefore, what happens? Although they may have other interests, the interest which drives their work, that becomes a common interest or shared interest. So, shared interest, ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ರಿಲೇಟೆಡ್ ಆದಂತ ಬಿಹೇವಿಯರ್ನೆಲ್ಲ ನೀವು ಒಟ್ಟಿಗೆ ತಗೊಂಡ್ರೆ it becomes a shared culture. Because in groups there are diverse opinions, clashes and disagreements are more common, but in teams disagreements are much less. And as I told you earlier, the achievement of the goals depends upon individual effort. In groups, in teams, individuals contribute to team goals. So there is more interdependence between individual members in a team than in a group. More focused on individual rewards. In a group, it's largely one does things for oneself, so is more interested in rewards, individual awards and rewards. But teams, if they lose, they are out of a tournament, for example, in sports. Therefore, what happens? More than individual goals are important, individual achievements are very important, but still more focus is there on collective awards. What is your collective award? Largely, the purpose for which you have gone out or you are working will be achieved. Similarly, there are some 18 or 9, I think about 17 different points I have listed here. I am sharing the notes with you. You don't need this elaborate list, but I have it, so I have given you. You can go through the points. I think some 5 or 6, 8 points maximum should be sufficient. This is as far as teams is concerned. Teams and how teams differ from groups. I have listed a whole lot of points, some 17 of them. We can go through. Next comes stages of team development. So how does a team get to form itself? So obviously there is somebody controlling who wants to have a team for a given purpose. So he would have carefully gone through and selected the individuals. The individuals, except for saying yes or no, will have no role in getting themselves selected or put into the teams. This is done by somebody else who is either the team leader or somebody above him. So after that, what happens? The very first, there are 4 stages in team development. The very first stage is called as forming. So what has happened? Somebody has chosen you for a particular purpose. You also agreed with him that you will participate in the team activities. Therefore, what has happened? All of you have been called for a meeting to discuss what is to be done next. Now, what is that stage? That is the forming stage. You have gone to the meeting. You are meeting with the other members of the team. Maybe the team leader or somebody who is responsible has introduced each one of you to the others in the group. Now what happens? You are very anxious. You don't know what happens next. You don't know how people will react. You don't know what cultures they have. Therefore, you tend to have an anxiousness and you will adopt a watch and wait approach. Wait and watch attitude. So what happens? There will be formal towards each other. Each member will be acting in a very formal way with respect to each other, the other members of the team, in terms of addressing them, in terms of responding to comments and things like that. So then what happens? There's no clear idea of goals and expectations. You have an idea roughly of maybe why you are there, but how what you are assigned as a goal is to be achieved. What are the modalities? What is the plan of action? What is the standard operating procedure, SOP, etc.? Nothing is known to you. So therefore, what happens? At this stage, the team has to sit down and write its own charter or a mission statement as well as clarify goals. The most important thing here is that goals must have a personal buy-in. ಅದರ ಅರ್ಥ ಏನು? ಕೇಳಿರ್ತಾರೆ ನಮ್ಮನ್ನ ಯಾತಿಗೆ ಟೀಮಿಗೆ ಸೇರ್ಕೋಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿರ್ತಾರೆ, ಹೆಚ್ಚು ಕಡಿಮೆ ಒಂದೆರಡು ಲೈನ್ನಲ್ಲಿ ಹ್ಞೂ ಅಂದ್ಕೊಂಡು ಬಂದಿರ್ತೀವಿ. ನಮ್ಮಂಥವರೇ ಬೇರೆ ಬೇರೆಯವರು ಇದ್ದಾರೆ ಅಲ್ಲಿ. ಸ್ಲೋಲಿ ಅವ್ರ ಜೊತೆ ಜೆಲ್ ಆಗೋದಕ್ಕೆ ಶುರು ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ. ಆದರೆ ಯಾವ ಕೆಲಸ ಹೇಗೆ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲ. ಸೊ ಅಟ್ ದ ಮೋಸ್ಟ್ ಏನು ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ, ನಾವು ಕೂತ್ಕೊಂಡು ನಾವು ಇಂಥ ಕೆಲಸಕ್ಕೆ ಸೇರಿದ್ದೀವಿ, ಇಂಥ ಒಂದು ಟಾಸ್ಕ್ ಅನ್ನು ನಾವು ಅಚೀವ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾಗಿದೆ ಅಂತ ಡಿಸೈಡ್ ಮಾಡಿಕೊಂಡು ಬೇಕಿದ್ರೆ ನಾವು ಅದನ್ನ ಒಂದು ಮಿಷನ್ ಸ್ಟೇಟ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ತರ ತಯಾರು ಮಾಡ್ಕೋಬಹುದು. ಒಂದು ಮಿಷನ್ ಸ್ಟೇಟ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ತಯಾರು ಮಾಡ್ಕೋಬಹುದು. ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ದ ಗೋಲ್ ಟುವರ್ಡ್ಸ್ ವಿಚ್ ಆಲ್ ಆಫ್ ಅಸ್ ಆರ್ ವರ್ಕಿಂಗ್. ಸೆಕೆಂಡ್ಲಿ ಏನ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು, ಒಂದು ಚಾರ್ಟರ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೋಬಹುದು. ನಾವು ಇಂಥವ್ರು, ನಾವು ಇಂಥ ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡಕ್ಕೆ ಬಂದಿದ್ದೀವಿ, ಇಂಥ ಕೆಲಸವನ್ನ ಇಂತಿಂಥ ರೀತಿಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ. ದೀಸ್ ಆರ್ ದ ಥಿಂಗ್ಸ್ ವಿ ವುಡ್ ಲೈಕ್ ಟು ಡೂ, ದೀಸ್ ಆರ್ ದ ಥಿಂಗ್ಸ್ ವಿ ಡೋಂಟ್ ವಾಂಟ್ ಟು ಡೂ. ಆ ಥರ ಎಲ್ಲ ಮಾಡಿ ಒಂದು ಬೌಂಡರೀಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಆಕ್ಷನ್, ನೀವು ಏನೇನು ಮಾಡ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಸಾಧ್ಯ, ಏನೇನು ಮಾಡ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಸಾಧ್ಯ ಇಲ್ಲ ಅನ್ನೋದ್ರ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಒಂದು ಬೌಂಡ್ರಿಯನ್ನ ನಿರ್ಮಾಣ ಮಾಡ್ಕೋತೀವಿ. ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡ್ಮೇಲೆ ಏನಾಯ್ತು, the team members will get to know each other doing non-conflict laden tasks. This builds the commitment towards the larger goal. So hige formative stage alli en martiri, you get familiarized rather with your team members. You sit together, you know broadly what purpose you have come together for. So and you state that purpose in the form of a mission statement. Then you may work out a charter on how you want to operate, how you don't want to operate, what are the do's, what are the don't do's. Then what happens, you also do other things for doing which you don't expect a conflict you will face. So conflict ಇಲ್ಲದೆ ಇರತಕ್ಕಂಥ, ಬೇರೆಯವ್ರ ಜೊತೆ ಜಗಳಕ್ಕೆ ಅವಕಾಶ ಇಲ್ಲದೆ ಇರತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಎಲ್ಲ ಬೇರೆ ಟಾಸ್ಕ್ಸ್ ಅನ್ನ ಮಾಡ್ಕೋತೀರಾ. ಈ ರೀತಿ ಮಾಡ್ಕೋತಾ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, the ice breaks and you begin to gel together. Therefore you are now ready for a commitment to the next goal, or the only goal for which you have been brought together. Now next stage is storming. Now forming, then storming. This is where the actual purpose for which you are brought together will be revealed to you. What are the tasks, what are the difficulties, what are the dangers, etc. are now told to you. When they are told to you, what happens? Then they will, most likely you will be asked to give your comments on how to proceed. So this is where conflict will begin. Each of you has come from a different background, has a different attitude and perspective about things, and the speed with which you go about doing things. So when it comes to a team, each one will propose his own plan. Then what happens? You may agree, you may disagree. When you disagree, there are heated comments. Sometimes what happens? Issues of experience will come. Issues of hierarchy will come. Somebody will say, I have spent 20 years in this field, I know. Somebody else will say, so what? I am an MBA. Each one ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, ತಮಗೆ ಒಂದು ಟೀಮಿನಲ್ಲಿ ವ್ಯಾಲ್ಯೂ ಕೊಡ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ತಮ್ಮತನವನ್ನ ಸ್ಥಾಪಿಸ್ಕೊಳ್ಳುವಂತ ಪ್ರಯತ್ನದಲ್ಲಿ ಇರ್ತಾರೆ. ಅವಾಗ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, ಸಾಮಾನ್ಯವಾಗಿ ಯಾವುದೇ ಒಂದ್ರ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಅಗ್ರಿಮೆಂಟ್ ಬರೋದಿಲ್ಲ, ಎಲ್ಲದ್ರ ಬಗ್ಗೆನೂ ಡಿಸಗ್ರಿಮೆಂಟು, ಚರ್ಚೆ, ಆರ್ಗ್ಯುಮೆಂಟೇ ಕಾಣುತ್ತೆ. ಹೀಟೆಡ್ ಆರ್ಗ್ಯುಮೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ಬರುತ್ತೆ, ವೈಲೆಂಟ್ ಆಗಿ ರಿಯಾಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡುವಂತ ಸಂದರ್ಭಗಳು ಬರುತ್ತೆ. ಆದ್ರೆ ಇಂಥ ಟೈಮಲ್ಲಿ ಏನ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕು, ಕಮ್ಯುನಿಕೇಶನ್ ಅನ್ನೋದನ್ನ ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿ ಇಟ್ಕೋಬೇಕು. Usually what happens, there will be a team leader who will, whenever the discussion heats up, he will intervene, he will say whatever he needs to say to calm you down and also let you focus on the task to be performed. So havagenayitu, now you have started. Therefore all these exchanges always help you to reassess your position, reassess the position of the others. Therefore when you are storming, you will come to know of the individual styles of people. Some you like, some you don't like, you are irritated, so on and so forth. But the only thing that needs to be done here is a bit of civility has to be maintained and open lines of communication have to be preserved. Without going overboard, to discuss everything in detail. Don't suppress people. Next comes the norming. ಈಗೇನಾಯ್ತು, ಇಷ್ಟೆಲ್ಲ ಚರ್ಚೆ ಮಾಡಿದ್ವಿ, 10 ವಿಚಾರದಲ್ಲಿ ನಮಗೆ ಬೇರೆಯವ್ರ ಜೊತೆ ಡಿಸಗ್ರಿಮೆಂಟ್ ಇದೆ. ಆದರೆ we find that on 4 there is no disagreement. So what happens? Those four things on which nobody is expressing any disagreement, that becomes the agreed plan of action for the team. So that is settled. Then what happens in bringing about this kind of a consensus? You would have seen people reacting. You get to know them better. As you get to know them better, you have spent some time with them, you are more social. Now you feel confident of arguing your case out and making others see reason. You don't need to pull rank. Pull rank ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಗೊತ್ತಿದೆ ಅಲ್ವಾ? ಈ ಟೀಮಲ್ಲಿ ನಾನು ಲೀಡರು, ಅಥವಾ ನನಗೆ 50 ವರ್ಷದ, ನನಗೆ 30 ವರ್ಷದ ಸರ್ವಿಸು, ನೀವು ನೆನ್ನೆ ಮೊನ್ನೆ ಬಂದಿದ್ರಿ ಕೂತ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳೋದಿದೆಯಲ್ಲ, ಇರೆಸ್ಪೆಕ್ಟಿವ್ ಆಫ್ ದ ಮೆರಿಟ್ ಇನ್ ವಾಟ್ ಯು ಆರ್ ಸೇಯಿಂಗ್, ಟ್ರೈಂಗ್ ಟು ಸ್ನಬ್ ಯು, ಅದು ಪುಲ್ಲಿಂಗ್ ದ ರ್ಯಾಂಕ್. ಅಂಥದ್ದನ್ನೆಲ್ಲ ಮಾಡುವ ಅಗತ್ಯ ಇಲ್ಲದೆ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, ನಾವು ಇನ್ನೊಬ್ಬರನ್ನ ಕೇಳಿಸ್ಕೊಳಕ್ ಶುರು ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ. Then we realize that there's a lot that is common between us than the differences that are there. So therefore what happens during this stage, the conflicts get resolved. There is a greater involvement of the team members. Ultimately what happens, you develop a us kind of feeling than an I kind of feeling. So the team becomes more important than the individual. Now the team is ready to concentrate on what is to be done. Next, ಈ ಸ್ಟೇಜಲ್ಲಿ ನೀವೇನ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು, ಕಾನ್ಫ್ಲಿಕ್ಟು ನಾರ್ಮಿಂಗು ಆಗೋ ಸ್ಟೇಜಲ್ಲಿ ಅಗತ್ಯ ಇದ್ದರೆ you can also give them training, or just before you have come into a group, so as to be able to function as a group, you can be given training so as to work out the steps required to achieve a task, and also the required training to perform a given task. So you have come, you have formed a team, you have adjusted with your teammates, you have received the necessary training for performing your job, and therefore now you are ready to perform your job. So then to go out as a team, start performing. Each member of the team is very clear what is his role and how much important it is with respect to the roles of the others. Each person will give his input. Members will be self-motivated as well as self-restrained, and their efforts need to be now recognized, and growth has to be encouraged. This is done by giving new challenges to the team. So team starts performing. Therefore what you do to make them better, you give the better performing members the tougher tasks, and also encourage others to do better than what they would have otherwise done. So what happens, each person is seeing a new personal peak. Therefore what happens, as a team they can also achieve greater heights. So when that happens, the teams have become self-motivated, self-organized, self-controlling, loyal as well as productive, and that is when we expect the best performance from the team. So this is how teams from the stage of forming will grow into the stage of performing. It's not just an easy story that teams can be made to get themselves organized and function at peak efficiency. There are always conflicts, there are always mismanagements, misconceptions, wrong communications, because of which the efficiency of the team comes down. Not understanding our roles properly, not being flexible enough to change your roles if need be, all these are important. Those things, that is the troubles you get or the problems you get in getting teams to be motivated and performing at high levels, and managing conflict within a team, how a team leader should be, what are his tasks, etc., that we can see in the next session. For now, this should be sufficient. So we please go through this. In the next session, we will look at the whole problem of building a very good team. Team building, requisites, conflicts in a team, how to resolve conflicts, the role of a leader, etc. For now, let us stop at this. Thank you.